Going around right now, a lot of this conversation about President Biden getting criticized from both sides of the aisle for pardoning his son Hunter after repeatedly saying he would never do it. And a lot of people are saying that it's hypocritical, et cetera, as if the other side doesn't do it. But what's your reaction to it?
I mean, I think all of the criticism is valid because, you know, Democrats stand on this moral high ground all the time. And, you know, they act so self-righteous. The reality is he didn't have to say anything in regards to, you know, whether or not, you know, his son wanted to be pardoned. He could have said, hey, man, I'm not focused on that right now. But since they were calling Trump a threat to democracy and they were saying that, you know, nobody's above the law, but they were speaking about him, that's what they were running on. So when he kept saying things like, oh, you know, nobody's above the law, I respect, you know, the jury's decision in regards to my son, he didn't believe that. But he didn't have to volunteer that lie to begin with.
Oh, I think that this is about to go left. I think that this is about to go left. Because this just flies in the face of everything that they talk about on The View. It 100% flies in the face. I don't think they realized what they was doing when they invited Charlamagne the God onto this platform. Charlamagne is not a Biden supporter. Charlamagne is a Kamala Harris stan. That's the difference. So if you bringing him on here in order to make a plea for Kamala Harris, you're going to get a totally different chameleon Charlamagne. And I think that he also is probably more Republican after getting beat up all of this election. You're going to get a completely different Charlamagne if you're talking about Kamala Harris than if you're talking about Joe Biden. Charlamagne don't like Joe. And I got to give him a little bit of credit being objective. He's always been a Joe hater. He's always been in denial about how great Trump is, but he's always been against Joe Biden. So when they ask him this question and he's able to remove his bias in order to hold Democrats accountable, and specifically Joe Biden, about, you know, holding on to that lie, I don't think that this is going to go the way that they anticipated.
I'm going to stop you for a second.
Of course she is.
Only because you don't know that it was a lie. We don't know why he changed his mind.
You really think he just changed his mind over Thanksgiving weekend all of a sudden?
No, I'm going to tell you what I think.
Okay. Yeah.
I think he changed his mind because he got sick of watching everybody else get over. And this is just my feeling, because at some point you get to the place where you just go, so I'm just going to follow the straight and narrow always, because that's what's expected of Democrats.
Now, before we address Whoopi's delusion, how many of y'all that's watching this right now actually believes that Joe Biden, Sleepy Joe, is on the straight and narrow? How many people believe that in Joe's 50-year career, not even say 50, let's go back to 2014, because maybe he's pardoning Hunter so that it doesn't come back to him in some way, shape, or form, over the last 10, 11 years. How many of us, honest to God, in our hearts, believe Joe Biden to be on the straight and narrow? The one that continues to push the narrative and hit the button when it comes to provoking Russia to become or use their nuclear powers. Stop, bro. Stop.
But that's their fault. They're the ones that go out. They're the ones that go out there and they stand on this moral high ground. Listen, they don't have to do that.
I'm a Democrat. Tell me what the moral high ground is.
The moral high ground is nobody's above the law. I respect what the jurors are saying.
Right.
He don't have to do that.
So we're mad at him because he changed his.
Oh no. By the way, I'm not mad at him pardoning Hunter Biden.
But you sound like you're
mad.
No.
Okay. If I can get in on this, I actually think it went further, and this is one thing we really disagree on. Joe Biden made a point of saying we stand by our institutions and the impartiality of the Department of Justice.
Yes.
Democrats ran on that. The same DOJ indicted Hunter Biden. How we shouldn't be saying it's corrupt like Donald Trump does. But then in his statement pardoning Hunter Biden, he says that it was a political pursuit by his own Department of Justice.
Can you explain to me why it is that when Joe Biden does something, everybody clutches their pearls? He's wrong.
Nobody
he lies.
criticized Donald Trump more than me or Charlamagne the God.
I'm sorry. Yeah, people have criticized him more. I've criticized him more. We've all criticized him more. But you're missing my question. Okay. My question is, what is it that makes people flip out with Joe, but we don't have the same kind of think?
Well, I don't think people are flipping out with Joe. I think Democrats are flipping out with Joe because Democrats believe that they don't represent what he's currently representing. But that's just not true. That's why I say they stand on this moral high ground that simply does not exist. And I think this is also the problem when we pick sides, right? We've turned political parties into teams. I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan. Ain't nobody more delusional than me, right? Okay? I feel like we're going to the Super Bowl every year, but I'm not delusional. Well, no, that is delusional. But when it comes... But when it comes to political parties, if you pick a side, right, if you say you're a Democrat, if you say you're a Republican, you refuse to be objective about anything.
That's why I'm an independent.
Yes, but
I think that's the best way to go.
But that's not a monolith. We're not, Democrats are not a monolith.
But why can't you say when Democrats are wrong? And why can't Republicans say when Republicans are wrong?
I'll tell you when Democrats are wrong.
So you don't think Joe Biden is wrong?
No, I don't.
Can I?
So she doesn't think that Joe Biden is wrong for presenting himself as this holier than thou. We will abide by the law. The justice system has to work. It doesn't matter who it is. They have to be, they have to be held accountable for what it is that they do. But then at the same time, say that he wasn't going to do something multiple different times, throw Karine Jean-Pierre under the bus and everybody else that said that they believed in him. But then all of a sudden, he just changed his mind overnight at Camp David. Stop. That is, if this is not some of the most delusional people that I've ever seen in my entire life, liberals are delusional. And what it is that they represent and what they run on is delusion. It's 100% delusion.
Can I just point this out to you? The president has a pardon power,
you're
right?
ridiculous.
I didn't say you were ridiculous, Ms. Goldberg.
Yeah,
I would never.
Oh, Auntie mad. Auntie mad. Auntie is mad. She hurt. This is what happens when you go to Thanksgiving dinner or you go to visit your grandmother and they trying to get on you about why you voted the way that you voted, and then you give them some truth serum and then they get hurt as a result of it because they can't bully you no more and they're staying on a Democratic plantation.
I said that. I just think that's
Think about it. Just think about it this way.
Nah, I'm straight. I don't do that. But the point is that this was a masterful display of somebody being held accountable and taken to task about a bad take that they've been espousing over weeks, months, if not years. I've never, ever seen them hold each other accountable, hold Joe Biden accountable, say that he was wrong, say that, I don't know about that one. I've never seen that happen in my entire life, ever. And the one thing that you could say about Trump, and this is one of the reasons why they voted for him, is not only does he represent what we want done in mass in America, but also he means what he says and he says what he means. So everything that he said that he was going to implement before he got into office on January 20th, 2025, that's exactly what he's executing on. That is exactly what he's doing and executing on. And you cannot debate it. It is something that you can't sit here and go back and forth about. It's true. It's just absolutely true. So for her to get this truth serum for somebody that they thought was on their side, but that obviously they didn't do their research and realizing that Charlamagne is not a Joe Biden fan. He's a Kamala Harris stan. This is why she got to say, oh, come over here and give me. Nope. Take this L, hold on to it. And, I think that Charlamagne is a chameleon in a lot of ways, but being objective, even chameleons can be right sometimes about certain things. And when I seen him go off and say that Joe Biden was wrong about what it is that he stood for and what he did, and again, nobody is mad at Joe Biden for pardoning his son. They just pointing out the hypocrisy that come along with it, and they also questioning why it goes back beyond the thing that he was convicted for, but that's just neither here nor there. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Also, Teach Henley, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. And then last but not least, get your tickets to come and kick it with me December 14th in Detroit. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you later. Peace.